All right, I pressed go live. All right, we are live. Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. I want to say thank you for those of you who are coming on. Going to give it just a second here to let people jump on. And we are going to go live. All right.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! It's Friday. Who's excited? All right. Happy Friday. This is Lydia. Thanks so much for joining us. I am so excited to be here with you today with my special guest and friend, Marie Houlden. And Marie is like so many amazing giftings. She's a Reiki master. Tell me if I get this all. EFT practitioner.
Yeah.
Coach. What else?
Kinesiologist.
That's right, kinesiologist. So you have all these amazing modalities that really support people really well. And Marie and I have worked together for a little over a year together. And I really wanted so much to come and talk to you guys about emotional health and emotional detox, because you've seen me talk for years about nutrition and health and healthy habits. And this is a huge one that I haven't really broached a whole lot. And you really, to massively improve your health and be happy and have energy, the emotional side of your health matters immensely. And it's so huge and so important. And we're both like really excited to talk about this today because we want to help people. We want to see people's lives radically change. The landscape of our society, there's a lot of anxiety, there's a lot of, mental health issues. We've had some recent trauma in our nation, so this is important. So we're here to really stir things up and talk about something that is important and we're both passionate about. So welcome, Marie. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for taking the time, and go ahead and say hi and introduce yourself.
Well, thank you so much for having me here and having this conversation. As you were saying, it's something that is massively important and it's so needed by people. And it's great that we can just chat about it and, just raise awareness about how important the emotional health piece is to our emotional well-being, our physical well-being, our spiritual well-being. It just makes us happier. So I'm so excited we get to talk about this and to share it.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely. So, okay. So I want to tell a little quick story about emotional detox, if you will. And, maybe you're familiar with the idea of detox. Maybe you've done a detox, or maybe you've worked with me and you know that I'm like all about the detox. You got to do something to support your liver and just keep your pathways open. And, it's important for your energy and weight loss and all these things, right? And then there's this piece called emotional detox, which is what we're calling it. And it's huge too. So really, I had an experience this summer, actually last summer too, right, Marie? That's when I started, that's when I reached out to Marie originally. I was in this like stagnant place in my mood and my emotions. And I'm a pretty happy, upbeat, positive person, but I felt really stuck. And like unmotivated and depressed. And I was like, this is not me. And so I reached out for help in a plethora of ways, and Marie was one of them. We really worked through that last year, and I had a really amazing year. And I, thought I was doing great, and I still am, but I didn't realize there was more. Like I did, but I didn't realize how much more, so really working through emotions to kind of free this energy in your heart, your soul, your mind, your body is immensely huge. And so this summer, I kind of just went through this like major, deep, like emotional cleansing where I was just like working through just like a lot of issues that were still kind of holding me back from really stepping out into, more of my potential as both a woman, a mother, but as an entrepreneur. And I started journaling way more, and my dreams were wildly vivid, and that's a whole topic for another day. But I just started like clearing all of this. And what happened was I felt freer. I literally felt lighter, like just like walking along, just like bouncing light. And I ended up actually losing weight. That wasn't even my intention. But it was just amazing for me. And without going into too much detail for the sake of time, what I learned from that experience was like, wow, emotional detox can be really intense. And some people may feel it's a little painful, and at times it was, but these things came up for a reason so that I could acknowledge them, accept them, and kind of work through them, and really just, have an awareness around it, with also an ability to take some basic action, but as well to notice when those things might trigger me up a little bit. You know what I mean? So with that said, Marie and I have talked back and forth a little bit about this whole idea of emotional detox and why we feel it's so important to really help people understand, like, what does that mean? Like, why do I need to like dig into my emotions? Like, isn't that painful? I'd rather not go there. And so I would love to hear your kind of intro on this for people who are trying to wrap their brain around this concept.
Yeah, it's so massively important to me that people dive into the emotions. And you're right, people go, I don't want to do that. I'd rather just pretend that everything's okay. I'm going to put a lid on that, and I'm putting that can away. I'm not going there, because we don't know what's going to come up. And then we worry we can't handle it. We worry it's going to be painful. We worry we don't have the time to really deal with it properly. But actually what I've seen over and over again over the last 8 years is that people who have these, they have physical symptoms, IBS, gut health, adrenal fatigue, all these different things. And when you dive into it, and certainly that's where it began for me as a kinesiologist, it was like, do you know what? Yes, there is a physical component to this, but over and above that, this is emotional. And so it's when you start dealing with that, and okay, so where does this come from? Why has this all happened? When you release that, then the symptoms ease. And for some people, it's an easing of some symptoms. For some people, they just go and they get their health back. They're vibrant, they're healthy, they're energized. And so for me, it's really clear that the emotions play a massive part in how we physically feel. But like you said, those emotions, when they're not there or when you're releasing them, it makes you feel so light. Suddenly there is joy in the world. We can be grateful. We have a spring in our step. Everything's exciting. But when we have those emotions that are heavy and low vibrational, sort of fear and worry and resentment, bitterness, anger, you can just tell when people are carrying it around, because their whole body is just closed in on itself, and it looks heavy. They look unhappy. Life is a struggle, and we don't have to be that way. We don't have to feel like that. And so the more people that know that this small thing, or big thing, if there's a lot of healing work to do, this emotional detox is massive, and it will transform your life.
It will. It really, really will. Yeah, gosh, so much could be said. I love how you connected it to different health issues, adrenal fatigue and digestive related and things like that. And I think a lot of people will connect with that. I personally have a level of adrenal fatigue, if you will. I'm a single mom, but I went through a lot of difficulty in life. I think everyone probably has to varying degrees, and there was a lot of stuff that I buried for my own sanity at the time. I had realized, I had a miscarriage at one point in my life, and it was kind of traumatic at the time, and I just went into shock and buried it. And years later realized I'm still dealing with this.
Because it's trauma.
Yeah, it's trauma. And it could be something that intense, you know, it could be something that is really traumatic and painful, but it could also be even just something from your childhood, that how you perceived the world as a child that, you know, maybe wasn't the best way to view it, you know. It could be so many things, right? And it's just really helpful to be able to start to connect to this. And I love how you approach it with EFT, which is a emotional freedom technique, which I want you to talk about in a minute, because I don't think everyone watching may even know what that is. But really, you know, tapping into your emotions in this way is just like a gentle way to just be honest with yourself, and allow yourself to feel what you feel and accept who you are anyway, regardless of what it is, and release it and work through it. And like Marie said, you can feel very light. You can feel like this like weight off your shoulders. And I think that this connects to a lot of health conditions, including, you know, carrying heavy weight on your body.
Because it's protection, and we're stressed, so we're laying down fat, but also it's protection from the outside world, because it's a scary place. People can't be trusted. The world can't be trusted. And so, you know, some people get super skinny. Some people will put on weight.
Yeah. So, you know, if you're struggling with your health and you've done all these things, you know, you've done all these great habits, you've cleaned up your diet, you've, you know, cleaned out your cleaning products and all the toxins in your house, and you know, exercise, and you do all these things, and you've done all this testing, and you're still struggling and stuck in some area of your health, you know, this could be the thing that is really holding you back, you know, this whole emotional toxicity.
Because we're more than a physical body. That's just like that's the vessel. But it's what's inside it.
Correct. Yeah. So go ahead and explain to everyone what emotional freedom technique is, because it is one modality that people can really start to just get into this part of their life in a very safe and very effective way as well.
Yeah, it's really gentle. And I think that's why people like it, because it doesn't have to be traumatic when you're releasing emotions. Emotions may come up, but it doesn't have to be traumatic. And so EFT, emotional freedom technique, is about tapping on different points on the body. So I'm just showing you a few here. And it stimulates the healing process in the body. So it allows a safe space for emotions we've either denied, repressed, or we can't quite connect with to come up into our conscious mind, so that we can recognize it for what it is, and then we can let it go. Because there's two things we have going on. We can deny how we really feel, and people are quite good at doing that. No, I don't feel that way. Or we can't quite connect with, I'm not quite sure how I feel. But then when we can bring it up to the conscious mind, and we can become aware of how we feel in our body, in our mind, what's going on, we can then let it go, and it's gone. And it's so simple, it's so safe, and it's so quick. That's what I love about it. It's quick. So it's not like years and years of talking about it. And you know, oh God, I'm so bored of talking about it, and I'm still stuck in the trauma.
Yes. I love how you brought that up. It's years of talking about it. So a lot of people will go to counseling or therapy, which is great. It's one way to have a place for you to be supported. But I personally felt I needed more release, you know? And so for me, using EFT, like Marie said, it was very easy. Like I was scared, honestly, our first session. I was scared. I was like, oh my God, what's going to come up? I have so many painful things that I've been, and it was like starting to dawn on me, you know, like I have these painful things that I don't want to deal with. How like that's such an awareness right there, just even leading into a session. And I was like, oh my goodness, but I really need to deal with these things because I don't like feeling this way. And I remember, you know, I know in nutritional therapy, we do make connections to like the liver and anger and just different the thyroid and not being able to have your voice and speak out. And so all these different connections. And I remember this one time, where I was like, I'm just so pissed off all the time. Like, why am I so angry? Why am I so pissed off? And I was telling one of my good friends about it. And I was like, I really don't like this. And I don't like feeling like I want to vent and be angry, but I can't help it, but I can't get rid of it, And I knew it was probably my liver wasn't happy, and that's just one part of it. Of course, I'm doing all this stuff to support my liver, like I know, like a good nutritional therapist. But there was still like this thing that was holding on to me. And I was like, I just want to get rid of this. How do I get rid of this? And when I really started to dig into the emotional piece of it and even start working with you and doing emotional freedom technique, but also then after, understanding how to recognize it on my own, through journaling and such, it's just amazing, like letting all that go. And I'm like, oh my God, I spent years being angry. And now
what a waste of time.
It is a waste of time. And the thing that was making me angry, it's like, now I'm like, it's not even a big deal at all. It's like, that was stupid. Like, I can just, okay, here's my response now. It's easy, it's light, it's free, happy, no biggie, right?
Yeah.
And that is what I really want to help people understand and connect to, because, gosh, we only all have so much time in life, right? We have 168 hours a week or whatever it is. And I don't know about you, but I feel like time is accelerating, man. My kids are just like, what? They're like getting older. And I'm like, all these years, and that's not a, I feel shame or guilt about that or anything. I acknowledge that it took me time to really come into this understanding, but we want to share it to save you, heartache and stress and time. And just, it really can just accelerate your healing so much faster if you partner your nutrition protocol or whatever it is you're doing with, really dealing with the emotions that are definitely buried. Let's just be honest, we all
do. Even when you have the tools and techniques, you still bury them. I still go and see, colleagues that I respect to say, look, I know there's something going on. I'm clearly not allowing myself to connect with it because I don't want to go there. You need to help me. It doesn't matter how many tools you've got. We all need support.
Yeah. And I love too, how you were saying, really starting to get the emotions up to the conscious level. So, like for me, this is maybe, I haven't talked like this in front of you guys, so it may sound a little woo-woo or whatever, but the thing that drew me to you was very subconscious. And it was through a dream that I literally woke up from, seeing your face, saying your name, and holding my gut. And I said, I need to talk to Marie. And then I spoke with my friend David Hayward, who teaches about dreams. He's a coach as well. And he said, Lydia, you know what you need to do. I was like, I know. And so but that was my subconscious, like starting to help me see it in my conscious mind and deal with it. And so there is that level that we don't all understand. Like, we only use supposedly 10% of our brain, but really that's our conscious brain. We have this whole amount of our brain that we use subconsciously, right?
We're like icebergs. There's a lot going on underneath.
Exactly. So we get to tap into that and utilize that and take that stored information and memories. Like we have stored memories, right? Yeah. So I love that, there are places to go like you and to start to deal with this. So do you have some resources that you want to talk about for people who are starting to get curious about, okay, well, maybe I should look into this?
Yeah, what is all this stuff about? Yeah, so absolutely. There's plenty of resources on my Facebook page. I've got a Facebook group, which is free, where I'm always sharing EFT videos and talking about, the more spiritual side of life and being empowered. There's some videos on, did I say YouTube? As well for EFT, but also I've created an emotional detox program. So bringing together lots of different EFT videos. There's over 55 in there, I think, at the moment, with loads of hours and hours worth of workshop recordings too, where we look at things like letting go, forgiveness, anger, compassion, self-esteem, boundaries, people pleasing, our negative mindset, playing the victim. It's all those really heavy emotions which impact us, because when we're so clogged up with all that negative stuff, it really disempowers us. And when we feel disempowered, we don't always make great choices. First of all, we don't even listen to our intuition. We doubt ourselves all the time, and we can stay stuck in toxic relationships, careers that, you know, just completely suck our soul dry. We might not take risks, and, you know, it's all this kind of stuff. We tolerate more than we should because we don't feel deserving, worthy. And we can feel powerless. But if you can get rid of all of that, suddenly the whole world opens up and anything is possible. You know, you can reclaim yourself, you can create your own reality. And I feel really passionate about that I want women to have choice. I want them to have freedom. I want them to do what's right for them because it's right for them, not because they feel, well, I have to stay in this job, I have to stay in this relationship, I am stuck with this, that's the way it is. It's just not true. So, you know, this is really big, a big passionate piece for me.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So I love that you have that program, and I love that you have so many resources for people. And, you know, I have the same passion too. I just work with it a little differently. But, you know, as a woman who came out of a very challenging situation, you know, I shared this before, but I'm divorced. I'm a single mom. I have 4 kids. My situation was volatile, you know, and so I have a big heart for women to get free, not just if a relationship is bad, but then what, you know, get out of the relationship, then what? There's all this huge fear around, what now?
Exactly.
How do I do this? How do I do this? And that's what maybe sometimes holds women back too from leaving the situation to begin with. Yeah. So really having that support to understand and feel safe and free is huge. So I really want to just kind of say that out loud for anyone in case someone's watching that maybe needed to hear that. And even if you're hearing this for the first time, and like, so for me, the first time I heard about tapping, you know, I was like, all right, do I have to sit there and tap on myself? Like, I don't know, but I was never exposed to that. So it felt a little weird. And I thought, okay, whatever, I'll just do it. You know, so I had an open mind going in to that part that felt a little strange to me. But what I really valued was the talking through it in that way that you do it. And it's so liberating and gentle, and just allows you to, like, for me, I know I had this huge issue that was super painful that I literally was like, I don't want to cry about this. I don't want it to hurt me. And when I worked through it, I couldn't believe it was just like a breeze. And then I felt all this joy. And so, you know, if you're really just wanting to feel free and not trapped in your own body or your life or your situation or whatever it is, this is such an amazing outlet for you to just have that, you know? So I wanted to say that because I know, you know, some people haven't been exposed to more of the modalities that we don't get in this country as much.
Right. Do you know what? The first time I did EFT, and I'm quite open to anything. The first time I did it, I was like, I'm not sure about this tapping on your face lark. And it just wasn't the right time for me. And I think some of that is also about wanting to explore those things that we don't want to, but also it's about working with the right person, because if you don't feel connected to the person you're working with, if you don't trust that they're going to hold a safe, loving space for you without judgment, and they're going to be there for you. Like, it's not like, well, I'm here for you because you're in a session, but then I'm gone. You know, if you don't feel safe with that person, it makes it so much harder, because you're not going to go to those places that scare you, because why would you put yourself in that position? So I think timing is definitely something that comes into it. But make sure that if you do try it, you work with someone you connect with, because you have to be able to trust them so that you feel safe.
So true. That's huge. That's huge. And that's why I'm sharing you with my audience, because I have a relationship with you and trust you. And I have actually started, referring clients to you. So that's been really cool to see that transpire, because they're really loving it. And really, it's really helping the work I'm doing with my clients go even further, because I work with a coaching program around mindset and nutritional therapy, but this piece is just like a deeper approach to it with what you do. And it's amazing. It's just amazing. The combination. I love it.
Cool.
So awesome. Well, do you have any last tips for people around this?
No, just do it. Go and emotionally detox. You will not regret it. Absolutely not regret it at all. It will be the most freeing thing you've ever done in your life. And suddenly you'll get you back. And that's what we're all looking for. We just want to come back to a place of knowing ourselves again, don't we?
Yeah.
Because we lose ourselves too much when we become mums or wives or whatever it might be. We're labeled, but we want to come back to ourselves.
Or even better than before.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
I'm never done. That's what I say to myself. You're never done, Marie. You can always release a little bit more. And
yeah. So we're all about vibrant health. So if you are interested in this piece and maybe you're a little reluctant, start to notice it. If you do a daily journal, maybe that's a good place for you to kind of pick up on some of your emotion. If you're triggered by things and you realize it, you could sit down and kind of write it down and realize, okay, this is triggering me, this situation in my life or whatever it is. Definitely journaling is great, but Marie has a lot of resources on her website. She has some amazing videos. She has her program it's available now, right?
Yeah.
And then you could also work with her or someone else one-on-one to go deeper when you're ready. So you can certainly baby step your way into this process and start to feel your way into what's it like to really focus on my emotions in a healthy, positive way that helps me be free of the negative side effects from them. So that's what we wanted to share today. So thanks for watching, and thank you, Marie, for coming on and sharing your passion and knowledge today with us.
Total pleasure.
Yeah. So that's it for today, guys. Thanks for watching and stopping by. Bye-bye.
Bye.